Hello and welcome to Budget with Brian. Today we're going to have a quick look at the Milwaukee TICK. Now we got sent one of these. We won a small competition. This wasn't an item that we thought was a great idea to come and buy one of these, but seeing as we've got one, and we've been introduced to the idea and the technology, we thought let's make a video about it. Now it's quite a technical one, which is why I'm doing it. In the sense that I think it's important that everybody understands what this is, what it can do, and the fact that it needs an app on your phone and so on and so on. So what you get in the box in a BTM-1 from Milwaukee is this, and it is just a small round plastic Bluetooth device that is got a battery inside. So the idea is that you attach this to something of great value that you want to track, and that connects to your phone via an app, and then on a periodic basis it says to the app that it can still be seen, and then that piece of data is sent off to Milwaukee's servers somewhere on the internet. So, okay, well, that's all right. That's all well and good so far. And we'll come to the app in a moment. But just walking around the device, it's got a couple of mounting points, which you can, screw it to something, or you can epoxy resin it on, or, you find whatever way. I'm going to tie wrap it to something in a moment. But it opens up. To change the battery, you can just open it up, change the battery, and slide it back on. Now, to me, that means that it's very, very easy to disable, because you just take the battery out and there we are, it's just a lump of plastic. And from that perspective, the device isn't the most secure, Bluetooth type device they have. However, you can change the battery, and the batteries are cheap. You don't have to go to Milwaukee. You can just buy any button cell, the particular button cell battery, and you can just replace it yourself. Something that occurs to me that would be a good change to this design is to have it be keyed with this screw point. So maybe as you close it, it creates part of this loop, and then you can drive maybe secure bits or screws in. So at least you've got half a chance of having control about who takes the battery in and out, because obviously you can't tell just by looking at it whether it's working or not. I have to say, one of the sort of amusing sort of instant things that happened when I got this out of the box is I put it down. I activated it, I connected it to the app, but I lost it. And having the app and the thing paired up really only tells you that it's within 100 meters of where your phone is, which, from that perspective isn't really terribly useful. That aside, and it is quite a small thing, you're going to attach this to something quite big. So let's attach it to something, super important that we don't want to lose and we want to track. So there we go. I've attached it to something extremely important to the team, the bodgeometer. And of course, we must know where the bodgeometer is at all times. But let's keep the Internet of Things together, and maybe we'll screw it to it at a later date. So the idea obviously is that now you've attached it to something large and important that you can find or recognise that you've got within your possession within 100 metres. Because as I say, I found this very difficult to find on its own, because obviously it's quite small. It was at the bottom of a bag in the end. So if I knew it was in the bag, I'd obviously be able to see there was the bag, and everything would be fine. So this connects via Bluetooth to the app, and the app says this is within 100 meters. So that's all fine and dandy. But let's say someone's stolen it and it's now outside of 100 meters range. What happens then? Well, obviously in a one-to-one relationship with the phone and the device, the One Touch, or the Tick device is just going to show that it's not available. It's not within 100 meters range. However, if it comes in contact with somebody else's phone who also has the Milwaukee app installed, it will say where its new location is, and it uses somebody else's phone to connect back to the internet, back to Milwaukee, and broadcast its new location, which of course then comes back to your phone, and then you're able to see where your device is. Now, that's all fine and dandy as long as everybody has the app installed. But of course, you know, it does take quite a lot of take up of the app for this to start to be useful. Now, there are other apps and there are other devices very much like this that allows you to track a device via a small Bluetooth gadget. However, none of them all talk to each other. So there's bound to be a huge group of people that have a dog tracking system where you put a device a bit like this on the dog, and then other people, if the device comes within, a close proximity to their phone and their app, it will report back to the owner where that device is. And there are others as well. I'll list them below. Now, really, I think the success for this is there should be some level of federation between the different manufacturers. And this would allow them to share the data of where the device is, and maybe only that information, and create a bigger network. Because I really feel that this device will fail to make any market penetration if the uptake of the app doesn't get pushed out. To a certain extent, I kind of feel this should be put in the hands of a Google or an Apple to have that layer of communication for this type of device, and for them to, perhaps sell that information back to the app owner and to do it that way. And then that way you've got a much bigger network, and this idea, this concept would work. To go a bit further, I am sorry about this being a very static image, but I talk about such things, and maybe we'll edit this down to being a bit thinner. But the other thing that we need to be very aware of is Milwaukee are building this type of technology into their new set of drills, and it doesn't just stop at tracking. You're also able to disable devices remotely, rendering them completely useless. So if someone takes your new drill or your new impact driver or your whatever, and it's stolen, it's lost, you can just disable it via the app, and therefore, the idea is that who would steal a Milwaukee drill when it's going to get turned off at some point, and that therefore there is the deterrent. Anyway, back to the Tick. I'm now going to go through a little diagram to just recap on what I just said. So just to recap with a picture, the Tick talks to the phone that has the Milwaukee app installed. The phone reports its location, not the Tick's, but its location via GPS, via the internet to Milwaukee. Milwaukee store that information, and then your phone with the app connects to the Milwaukee servers and reports back the location of the Tick that a third party's phone has reported. Now this works great, I can see this, but it does really rely on an enormous number of people having the mobile phone app installed on their phone. That was it, just really in a nutshell. So let's go and have a look at the app itself now and see what is available on that. So when you open the app, it'll come to this inventory page, and you can see that I've already registered the Tick the bodgeometer. You can take a photograph of it so you know what you're looking for more visually rather than just a name. And then there's the rest of the Milwaukee items that I have that will tell you, put a schedule in there for saying what whether they're ready for a service or whatever, just to remind you what parts you've got. And I suspect also that feeds into maybe a warranty and or marketing, so Milwaukee know what you've got and what you'd probably like to see more of, which is fine. So if I go into the device, and I'll just cover up the map, this will give you some details about when the device was last seen, when the tick was last seen, and where its location is. And if you tap on the map area there, it'll zoom in on Google Maps and show you where it was last seen. Now, that isn't terribly accurate in actual fact, because really what it's reporting is where your phone is. It's not reporting about where the device is. It's reporting where the phone is, where it can see the device within 100 meters. Now, okay, that's still useful, because 100 meters, especially if you're attaching this to something quite big, is useful. I get that. And it doesn't have, for example, like some other devices do, a beeper, so you can activate the beeper so you can find the small device that it's connected to. This is really meant for sticking this to something quite big. So I think really this device, if I just skip back there, I think really in general, although the app's quite good, and I can see that really this is aimed for tools that are embedded and they do have more features, I think ultimately this is meant for maybe a team of people that maybe they work on different sites. So if you think, oh, hang on a minute, where's this drill, or where's this device, or where's this tool, you'd be able to see that, oh, it's on my friend's van and he's at another job, or something of that nature. That's where I think immediately this type of technology from Milwaukee is going to have its most immediate impact if you buy into the concept as a group of people. I don't think this on a one-to-one basis works at this precise moment, because I think very few people will have the app installed, which gives it its power and builds that mesh network that enables this really to shine. And so to the bodgeometer. And at this precise moment in time, we have 164 fabulous movies that we've made together, 532 fantastic subscribers, which we love to make content for, and 271,321 viewings, which is just a phenomenal success in our eyes. So thank you so much for subscribing, and if you haven't, the button is just there, along with that fantastic little bell sign, and be sure not to miss the next instalment. So thanks again, and may you have a nice day.